Welcome to Coffee and Monsters. Today, I'm making Larry the Lazy Monster. I start with some aluminum foil and shape out my basic armature using some Cosclay Deco and Cosclay Gray today. Once it's conditioned, begin layering my armature. I'll start with the beanbag chair. Once it's covered, I'll iron out the seams with just a little Sharpie. Now I'll make some tension marks. Kind of soften those up. Add some texture to give it that whole beanbag feel. And of course some seams where it's all sewn together. Now I'll start on Larry. Kind of fit him in there first to make sure he's going to be a good size for the beanbag. Add some black clay for the eyeballs. Just wrap some clay around that to build up the eyelids. Go ahead and add some texture to the whole surface. These are just texture tools I've made with polymer clay. And take some glow-in-the-dark clay and give him some tiny little teeth. Now we'll add the lip, blend that in, add some texture. Now I'll take some 18 gauge wire that I've twisted on itself and shape him out some arms and legs to add. Mark where those go and poke a hole into the foil, just right where the mark is. I'll do the same thing for the arms. Make some small adjustments. Mark right where they go into the body and wrap clay to that point. I'll just add these back on one at a time. Now it's time to make his bag of funyuns. Use some super Sculpey and just wrap a small piece of foil. Give it a good chip bag shape. Now I'll poke out some little funyuns with a broken tool handle. With a little oven baked clay adhesive on the wire, I'll add all the limbs back and blend them in. At this point, I went ahead and cut out a remote control for Larry. And a belly button. Now I'll shape out his feet and slice the toes, separate and soften all those cut edges. Then just add them in. And blend those in place. I'll do the same thing for the hands. I'll go ahead and add the remote to the hand before adding it to the arm. Now he's ready to hold his bag of funyuns. Can't forget the stamp. Now I'll brush him down with some isopropyl alcohol to remove my fingerprints or any debris. Stick him in the oven, and once he's baked and cooled down, I'll sand him down and dust him off really good. Get him ready for paint. Thanks, Dusty. I'll start by taking a darker blue, just running in all of the cracks and crevices and seams. Then I'll dry brush a lighter blue over all of that to pull out the texture. And then I'll take a white and do an even softer dry brush. Now I begin dry brushing a little lighter orange over Larry, just to pull out his texture. And I'll highlight his fingertips, his toes, knees, and elbows, as well as his eyes with some nice bright green. I'll reestablish the black on the eye. And put a little on the remote while I'm there. Now I'll very carefully use some white to draw in his eyes. Paint the buttons on the remote control. Can't forget to do a little red wash over the lip and some copper on the nails. Now it's time for the bag of funyuns. First paint a good coat of yellow on there. And then I paint another good coat of yellow on there, because that's just how yellow is. I'll start with a white circle and begin building up the funyuns. Now I'll give all the little tiny funyuns I made a little wash. I start with a really light green, and then I use a darker green for the shadows, and I really wish my camera would have focused on this. Put a little silver inside the bag. And a tiny little red dot of some UV resin for the remote control indicator. I'll give his base a nice coat of blue. Cut him out some hair out of some faux fur. Take a little Mod Podge, brush some on his arm, and use some white flocking. Give him some arm and leg hair. And just sprinkle this over the Mod Podge. Shake off whatever doesn't stick. Now fold in the edges on the back of the faux fur to kind of create a small hair piece. Use some E6000 to bond it to him, and a little hot glue to hold it in place while that E6000 cures. Ooh, Squished a little too much hot glue in there. Let me try to save that with my thumb. I got most of it. I'm going to have to clean up the rest. Now put a coat of polyurethane over the eyes and the lip and the teeth, as well as the bag of Funyuns. And just like that, Larry the lazy monster is all finished. He's ready to just chill in his beanbag chair and eat his Funyuns. As always, thanks for watching Coffee and Monsters. Hit that like and subscribe if you'd like to see the monster I create each week. We'll see you guys next time.